What's up? Welcome back to Retrograde, the podcast where Mercury is always in retrograde. My name is Liz.
And I'm Erin.
And this week, Mercury is, in fact, actually in retrograde. Are you feeling feral yet?
We are in the thick of it, baby.
We really just are out here going through it. I know I am, so I don't...
The universe has set its fucking bullseye on me.
Mercury said, you want to have a nice Valentine's Day weekend? Well, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. I had a great Valentine's Day weekend.
I'm glad you had a great Valentine's Day weekend. I had a good Valentine's Day weekend. I did have to go to work today on President's Day, which is an act of terrorism. No, that's incorrect.
That should be illegal.
I would be.
Sue.
I work a 9 to 5. Well, actually, I clock in at 10 and I leave at 6. But still,
that's like technically a 9 to 5.
Yeah, fucked up, honestly.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. We're here, and Mercury is in retrograde, and in celebration, or maybe just because Mercury has us in its chokehold, we are in a different kind of episodic formula, which I introduced last week, called Vibe Check.
We're deviating from the norm, and I'm very excited about it.
Yes, so Vibe Check is in case you didn't hear last week's episode, Vibe Check is going to be where we're talking about things that we're interested in the now, instead of thinking about any kind of topic and like trying to apply what we like to it. We are going to just make the topic fit our interests and what we're feral for right now. So
yeah, I was just gonna say it's not just interested, it's things that we're absolutely are going apeshit over.
Yes. No matter what it is, like it's not limited to like a certain medium or a certain like topic that we have decided upon a preset like formula. Like this is all the stuff that like we are interested in right now. And so given that this is, you know, a deviation from the norm, I've come up with a way to for us to discuss everything, but to keep it interesting so we're not just throwing out these topic points. So, Liz, are you familiar with the game Taboo?
Yes, I am, Erin. But maybe you can give everyone here a refresher. Everyone here meaning myself, because I am familiar with the game Taboo, but I'm dumb with a capital D and don't remember the rules. I'm sure. So if you just kind of give me the basis, then I remember. But yes, I have an idea.
We are so bad at this, like, preset. Like, anything that we discuss ahead of time, it's so bad to, like, try and organically introduce it into the podcast and weave it through. Like, it's very obviously like, oh, we've never talked about this before. No.
Taboo. What's that?
Ooh. So Taboo.
Okay, but honestly, when so she texted me like 3 days ago and was like, okay, so we're going to play Taboo on the podcast. I literally was sitting there and I was like, what the fuck is Taboo? And that was the only thing that passed through my mind for the next 3 days. And about 45 minutes before, I was like, oh, right. Maybe I should do this.
Why didn't you say something? You were like, yeah, sounds good.
My pride. I don't know. Do you think I'm just gonna roll up to my girlfriend, roll up to you, roll up to anyone and go, can you explain to me what Taboo is?
Anne would not. Never mind. So Taboo is this game.
I just want to make a point and say that my girlfriend's mother does this thing where I'll go over for dinner or like coffee or whatever, and she'll be like, yeah, you know this movie that you definitely watched in your youth. And I'll go, nope, never seen it. And she does this bit where she goes, is it too late to call Child Protective Services?
That's her joke? That's the bit?
Yes.
Can I call the...
Is it too late to call Child Protective Services?
Can I call an authority against the people who raised you?
So anyway, I think
To accuse them of being incapable of raising a child.
So I wasn't vocalizing that I don't know what taboo is. Not only for that reason, but I was nervous.
Listen, I don't blame you because I think at any opportunity, I think that I make it very clear that I'm gonna roast you. So I understand the kind of hostile environment that we've cultivated here. But just as a refresher, because you totally know what taboo is. Taboo is
Definitely.
a party game, where you have a item to talk about, but you need to either charades or you can use a combination of charades or words to talk about the item and get your team members or the group to guess it. And there is always a list of words that you cannot use on the card, so that way you don't, like, for example, Phantom of the Opera. If that was a card, I would not be able to say the word phantom or opera or Broadway musical, so I would have to, really act out or describe the events of the musical to you so that you could guess it, and then, without using any of those words, otherwise I'm disqualified.
Right.
So that's the premise of the game. The way that it applies here, and the exercise that I forced Liz to do, which is the only reason why I was texting about this so far in advance, because I basically want us to take whatever we're talking about and throw it into a thesaurus and come up with like an alternate name for each of these things that we're going to bring up today, and then using taboo rules, like not talking about anything that would be on the card for taboo if we were to be playing that game, and describe it to the other person so that way they were to guess it. So in the case of, for example, Phantom of the Opera, I would say the apparition of the production, and then I wouldn't be able to use the words that you would probably find on a Phantom of the Opera card, so I'd have to describe it to you and say, like, there's this disfigured dude who's in a performance place in France, and he sings to this lady who is trying to be the lead in the production.
Right.
And so on and so forth.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, so I hope you brought in a couple of topics. I have no idea how to gauge whether this is gonna work or how long it's gonna take, but I don't want it to be long. I just wanted it to be kind of fun, keep us on our fucking toes.
Spice it up a bit.
Yeah.
Spice of life.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, I think that you went first last time.
I did go first last time, yeah.
So I'm going to go first this time, and I'm going to start us off with the very easy one. I'm not going to talk about it for very long, but just to start off with our taboo game. My first topic is cartoonized, circulatory organ fashioned candy skewered.
Cartoon eyes, circulatory candy.
Sorry, let me.
Why am I dumb?
You're not dumb. It's very long because I running this through the thesaurus thing was like proving to be kind of challenging because some of these words like don't really have like synonym. So sometimes I would just go on and Google the thing and find the longest definition of the thing.
So
I'll go again.
Say it again.
A cartoonized circulatory organ fashioned candy skewered.
Fashion candied skewered. Something with a heart.
Mm-hmm.
Cartoonized circulatory organ. So that's heart.
Mm-hmm. You got that right. You did get that right.
Heart-shaped candy skewered. What is it, like a chocolate heart on a stick?
That's really close. I'm going to end this right here because it's very painful.
Wait, chocolate box, a box full of chocolates.
No, but Close.
Frick you. No,
I'm
kidding.
sorry. I mean, this is my own fault, but it's heart-shaped lollipops.
Cute.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully this gives you the
sucking
idea.
those back?
What?
Have you been sucking those back?
I have been. Actually, last year, for Valentine's Day, I was like, man, I would love to have some of those candy, like, heart-shaped lollipops. And then I looked for them, and they were nowhere to be found. I literally could not find them. And then this year, I went through, like, 6 Rite Aids, 7 Duane Reads, 2 Targets, and my local grocery store, and I could not find ones that were not, like, swirled or, like, somehow bastardized. And I was like, I just want the plain-ass, single color, like, single red color, solid, heart-shaped lollipops. I don't know why it was such an arduous task to find it, and so I texted Shireen and Heather, because I knew I was going to see them, and I was like, please, I know this is a shot in the dark, but if y'all just happen to pass by and see these things, like, if you could grab me one, I will Venmo you, I will, like, owe you my life, please. And Shireen, in all of her grace, delivered. And I sucked those things back. I literally do not have them anymore. I ate all of them. It's literally insane. They're not even that good. They're all, like, just cherry flavored, which is, like, fine. But I think the entire thing is, like, it's just so cute, and it fits the aesthetic, and I love the Valentine's Day aesthetic. I love all the pink and red and the hearts. I think it's really cute, actually.
That really like is, like, your shit. Like, you really do eat that up, and I love it.
I do, and, like, you know what? Like, I think that it's one of the most underrated aesthetics out there. Like, I think people have these, like, very intense feelings because it's so tied to the romantic connotations, but I'm just like, it'd be mad cute out here, alright? Like, I don't know, it's just hearts, like, who cares? So, I came to the realization that, like, it's something that I look forward to so much, those heart-shaped lollipops, that I think it's now my favorite holiday-themed candy.
Whoa, out of everything?
Yeah. I am
really, like,
not this excited about, like, any kind of chocolate around Halloween or any Christmas stuff. Like, candy cane's not going to take me there, but a heart-shaped lollipop will, if you know what I mean.
That's crazy, I guess. I mean, I'm like a very kind of, like, diehard, like, Cadbury Easter eggs and, like, Reese's peanut butter cups and, like, I mean, chocolate candy canes, like, my shit, literally my shit.
So good.
Peppermint bark, like,
I think the thing is, like, I like chocolate, but I think I have, like, this absolutely unnerving attraction to candy, like hard candy.
Yeah.
Like, I love it so much. And so that's my first topic, is, like, just, it was Valentine's Day, so all these heart-shaped lollipops are everywhere, and I'm obsessed with them. I'm still obsessed with them.
Amazing. Do you want to talk about your Valentine's Day?
No, that's actually my other topic, but...
Oh, okay. Never mind. Are we going to alternate?
Yeah, let's alternate.
Okay, great. So my first one is is very specific, but you will know it. And I don't know if it's going to, like, translate well onto this podcast, but we're just going to go for it. Okay, ready?
Okay.
So my first taboo word or thing is a profile distorter on government tracking device.
Oh. Is it those, what is it, Instagram face filters?
Yes, okay, so you got it, but it's a very specific one.
Is the one that makes you look like that sloth from Ice Age?
Yes, it literally is. Okay, so our friend Shireen sent us a picture of this filter that she found from I can't remember what account, but it, like, spaces your eyes out, makes your eyes smaller, like makes your nose like pointy and ugly and like makes your teeth really big, and I can't stop using it.
It's so funny. It's so funny.
I've gotten everyone I know and love into it. Like my mother uses it.
Oh my god.
Anne uses it. My sister uses it. It's like the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I have so many pictures of myself saved with that filter on. It just like brings me such immense joy.
The comedic value of that filter, like it exponentially adds to any picture that you take.
Yes. Maybe we'll post a picture. I'll post a compilation of my pictures on the Instagram so everyone can see what I'm talking about. But
like these filters are so good, and what I love about them also is that like the thing about Snapchat, and I think Snapchat had tried to do this beforehand, was that like users could customize it and you could share it, but the thing with the Instagram one is that like as soon as you see it, you can literally save it right then and there in the picture, which is really nice. So I grabbed that from Shireen as soon as she posted it, and like literally have been using it since.
Yes, same. It's like one of the only saved filters that I have. So I have that one. I have the What Beanie Baby Are You?
Love that one. Oh.
And I have this one called What Aspect Ratio Are You?
Oh, I saw that one.
And it works like the Beanie Baby one, and you record a video and then it does like, oh, what's your aspect ratio? And so I always get like the 2.35 to 1 aspect ratio, and it like distorts your face to that ratio, and it's literally the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So good. It's so funny. Like I don't know.
It's
why.
just like who comes up with this stuff, you know?
So whoever came up with that, the one that you originally brought up, the one that makes you look like that sloth, like that one, that guy is living in 2040, like literally just in the future. It's so genius. It's chef's kiss.
It's just so funny. I love to like. This is the stuff that makes me sit here and think and be like, okay, so like in 2010, we were like sitting on Facebook looking at like cat memes that are like, Icon has cheeseburger, like memes like that.
Oof.
And like being like, I wonder how our taste in memes is going to evolve. And here we are like 10 years later, and I'm peeing my pants over an Instagram filter that makes me look like that sloth from Ice Age.
Literally, it's so good, and I can't get over it.
Same. Okay, so that was my first one.
That one's so good. I'm so glad you brought that to the table.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so my next one is the dashing mammal of the family, Erinaceidae.
The dashing mammal of the family.
Or the quick mammal of the family, Erinaceidae.
I don't know what family that is. I don't know. What is Erinaceidae?
So this is a character that I'm describing. He's a mammal. And he...
Oh my god, I know. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck kind of gene pool is that? Genealogy.
It's Sonic the Hedgehog, which, spoiler alert from before, I spent my Valentine's weekend watching Sonic the Hedgehog, and boy, so my expectations were very low because I am a really big Sonic fan, and I used to play the games a lot as a kid. I don't know about you, Liz. Like, did you ever play?
I had one. It wasn't actually my Game Boy game. It must have been one of my friends or my cousins, but I had one game, and I didn't actually know how to play it, but I would like propel Sonic forward, and I just like was obsessed with it because it like was like very like visually stimulating and like really satisfying to watch him move so fast and collect rings.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't think I ever played it correctly. I never won anything, but I just like enjoyed playing it so much because it was fun.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that like at its core, Sonic is supposed to be fun, and he's like this fun little character, and he's a little like cute, and just like the game mechanic itself is also very just visually rewarding, and you get that immediate like it immediately makes you feel like you're having fun because you're going so fast and getting all these rings, and it feels very rewarding as a process.
Right.
And like I've played the games, I've had like the simulators like ROM running on my computer, and like I have a couple on from the Switch where they bring it over from Nintendo the online stuff, and it's just like a really great franchise, despite the fact that it's like had its ups and downs throughout Sega's history with it, like most famously Sonic 06, where they gave Sonic an actual human girlfriend.
Stop. No, that's not real.
No, deadass, like they kiss. It's insane.
What?
Yeah, he has a real human girlfriend. But anyway,
Thanks, I hate it.
so considering Sega's like ham-handed history with Sonic, like I really didn't have a lot of expectations coming into the movie, and I think that helped me.
But like I don't think anyone had high expectations going into the movie, because like the first trailer that they put out, Sonic looked like absolute shit, to the point where they had to re-edit the movie.
So they bring out this boy, and he is disgusting. His eyeballs are all wrong. His teeth scared me. His legs were way too long. Like, just proportionally, he looked like he had that Instagram filter on, except that was just his face. He comes into frame, like he emerges from the shadow, and that's like the first scene cut that you see of him. And it's disturbing like content, and like Gangster's Paradise is playing, and you're just like, what is happening? I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
It's nightmare fuel.
Literally, quite literally. Like, I've seen Sonic like OCs that are less terrifying than whatever fucking creation that's supposed to be. Like, they literally just pulled that from my nightmares, and they were like, this is Sonic.
Right.
But at the same time, you're right, they did go through an edit, and they made him very cute and very fun and very true to the kind of original aesthetics, where he's got like the big, cartoonishly big eyes, and like just very cute and soft. And I think I think that made the movie fun, but I do think that there is something to be said about the, appeal and charm of a cursed Sonic. Like, I think that the Sonic having a human girlfriend and this weird Sonic content that exists just adds to the value. It just adds a little flavor. It adds like a textural sensation to the mouthfeel of Sonic's cultural effect.
Again, truly the spice of life. Sometimes you just like have to mix it up,
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, as much as I loved this Sonic, I just think that a couple of the decisions that were made, such as, like, pulling back on the cursed-looking Sonic, I do think I would like to have... I think I'd like to have him. I think I would like for my sleep paralysis demon to finally take a physical form,
So what you're telling me... What you're telling me is that you would much rather have that the first Sonic iteration, who is absolutely hideous, rather than cute little refined Sonic.
Sometimes you don't know what you have until you've lost it.
Okay, but alternately, if you love something, you have to let it go. And if it's meant to be, it will find its way back.
I hope he comes back.
Oh my god.
I also think that there's something to be said about the fact that they, in no like either between the one where Sonic looks cursed and the one where now Sonic looks very cute, neither of those iterations had a Dr. Robotnik, who is Jim Carrey's character, that was as rotund as he needs to be. The reason why his name is Eggman is because he looks like a fucking egg with arms and legs, and I think these cowards did not make him rotund enough, and I think that he should be round.
I was gonna say, is Dr. Eggman in it, and if he is, how's he looking? But as I'm listening right now, I realize that he's not as rotund as you would like.
He's not a big round boy, and that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for in an Eggman. But right. I do want to say, to Jim Carrey's credit, no one is talking about any of their characters in the same kind of depth and commitment as Jim Carrey. The interviews that he has been doing, where he'll be talking about his character and like the motivations behind what he's doing, he's like talking about a loss of innocence, chasing after a dream, man versus self. It is impeccable. The amount of like depth that he is trying to give this cartoon character in a kids movie where his best lines are just pulled from someone's like ass. It's just insane how much Jim Carrey gives a shit about this weird ass character that should not be real.
That's so funny. You know, actually recently I was on Twitter, and for my entire life, like, Jim Carrey was not like a actor that not that I didn't respect him, but like, again, I didn't really respect him, and he was just kind of like, oh, he's this weird guy that's like in these mask movies, and like he plays the Grinch, and like, oh, he like makes silly voices and like dumb faces. And like, I saw a video of him on Twitter recently where he was talking about the Grinch, and he was like, looked like Jim Carrey normally, and then he was like, oh, now I'm talking about the Grinch and me working on this movie, and he like completely morphed his face into what the Grinch looks like.
Yes.
In like 0.5 seconds, and like, I was sitting there and I was like, this man has like so much control over his muscles and like his facial features, and I was like, that's absolutely fucking insane, because like I can raise one eyebrow and like literally cannot move the other one. So like, that to me is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I know exactly which video that you're talking about, and like, he does have that depth. And think about how long it's been since he played the Grinch, and like, he still has that in his arsenal that he just pulls out at any time, like on command.
Right. I also read that he comes from like not super wealthy family, so like, and also I don't think he had like a really good home life. So I read that he would like spend his time like standing in front of mirrors, training his face to do fun stuff like that, and like making faces and like doing funny voices, and like essentially taught himself how to do the thing that like presumably made him famous.
That's crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, so like, I walked away from Twitter like 3 days ago going like, I have this really, you know, like newfound respect for Jim Carrey, which I never thought that I literally would ever have in my entire life.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Adulthood is really doing things to me, you know?
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, I think he did a really good job, and I do highly recommend this movie to everyone. Like, I think that it's fun. I mean, there are points where it is like very clearly a kid's movie, but I think it's like the kind of movie that I would have loved when I was a kid. Like, I can very much see like, this is the stuff that like I was obsessed with when I was growing up. Like, it feels very like Pokemon movie. You know, I would go to the theaters with my parents, and like, they'd put me in my Pokemon shirt, and I'd bring my little Pikachu like tucked under my arm, and I'd sit in the theater and watch the movie. This is definitely one of those movies that I would have absolutely gone feral for and like not stopped watching as a kid. And so, you know, I think that also has something to do with, you know, why I like it so much, because like I mean, none of the writing is good. It's just like a, you know, your typical
right. It's gonna be like light, and
yeah,
it's for children. It's a children's movie.
It's quite literally for children. Like, I was in the theater, it was first of all packed, And we are the only, like, me and my brother are literally the only adults in this whole charade. And, like, all the kids are like, every time an action thing happens, they're like, Sonic did that! And I was like, yeah, Sonic did do that.
He really do be doing that.
Sonic do be doing that.
Oh. Well, I love that. I love that you went.
Yeah, it was good. It was very, like I said last time, like, it was so nice to, like, not have to think about, like, the pressure. Like, I can't believe they released it on Valentine's Day and put that pressure on me. But I'm glad that I don't have to have that pressure on me because I'm single and I get to spend my Valentine's Day weekend with the one that I love, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog, your boyfriend.
Because I'm his human girlfriend, yeah.
Oh my god, Aaron, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Please, no.
Congratulations.
Please.
Congratulations.
I think he's like, no, stop. He's like canonically like a child, so please.
Oh shit, okay, never mind. Dial it back.
Breaks on that joke. That bit.
Ugh.
Anyway, what is your next topic in very convoluted and overly complicated terms?
My next one is a little something called femme foul.
Femme foul. Can you spell foul for me?
Fowl.
Oh, okay, that's not how I spelled it. Great, thank you.
No, sorry.
That's the bird, right? Like fowl is a type of bird.
Yes.
Femme foul. Shit. Tell me something else without spoiling what it is, please.
Okay, so there's a lot of complicated emotions involved in this piece of media.
Ladybird.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish it wasn't stupid.
No, stop. So I watched Ladybird for the first time last night, actually, and it's been out for a while. I don't know how long, but a couple of years, and it's been on my list. And it finally, so we thought it was put on Netflix, but apparently it's not. So Anne has it on Amazon Prime, so we watched it there, and I wept like a little baby through the whole movie.
Oh no.
I knew going in that it was like about a complicated relationship between like a teenage daughter in high school and her mother. And I had seen the scene. There's a scene where they're in the car driving and they're arguing.
Yes.
And they're talking over each other. And like the first time I saw it, I was like, huh, this is me and my mother. Yep. Very fascinating. And then like in the scene, Lady Bird, who is Saoirse Ronan, just like throws herself out of the car, like out of a moving vehicle. And when I watched that trailer literally years ago, I was like, I have to see this movie immediately.
Yes.
But you did not. So last time was the first time I saw it, and it's so good. Greta Gerwig is like truly an absolute genius. Little Women fucked me up.
Oh my god. Little Women, I haven't seen Lady Bird, so I request that you do not spoil it.
No,
but Little Women was so good. Like, I still can't stop thinking about it. Granted, I haven't read the book, so I feel very guilty about that. But I mean,
same. Me too. Like, I have a beautiful copy that you gave me, Aaron, many moons ago for, I believe, a Secret Santa.
Yes.
And I've been literally chugging away at it for like 2 years trying to read it. I got it on audio and like was listening to it when I took my dogs for a walk and would listen to it when I like do my laundry. But like an average audiobook that for like a young adult contemporary novel is normally anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. And this this audiobook is something crazy like 15 to 17 hours.
That's crazy.
Right. And I listen to audiobooks on double speed because like 1x speed is way too slow for me. So 7.5 hours is still absurd.
It's a lot. And these books are tend to be very dense, and like I I have a hard time reading anything that like I used to burn through. I burned through Wuthering Heights. I burned through Pride and Prejudice. Like I had no problem reading it at my prime, which was literally in fucking high school. And then now, like I wish I had read it then because I had unlimited energy. I would literally just like read through so many books at a time. There was a point where I was literally in middle school reading a book a day because I would literally start my day reading a book, and then in between classes just read, and just get to class like by muscle memory alone. And then by the time that I was ready to go to bed, like I would just be on the last like 50 to 100 pages of a book. And it was just like the amount that I was reading was insane. And now by this point, it's taking me a month to read one book.
Yeah, I'm also experiencing that right now. It's like taking me, it's just like, I think it's the lack of motivation to be completely honest with you. It's just like, it's just a hard time to read, you know?
Yeah.
It's cold, it gets dark early.
We're getting old.
We are getting old.
Oh,
but
it's hard. It's just like a lot of work. But you know, I think what a lot of the movies, because I mean, Little Women has been adapted like a ton of times, but what Greta Gerwig did was like completely turn it on its head, like add in these very strong themes, like really trying to pull out and flesh out what it would look like in an actual movie format instead of trying to like stay true to the chronology of the book. Like she really allowed the timeline shifts to work in her favor and like make these use the colors and really just take advantage of the actors that she had at her disposal. And like I know that Lady Bird had won her a lot of acclaim and really put her on the actual radar of, you know, directors, and a lot of the people who had like criticized her work but also like claimed her work were all like, who is this lady? And like it really put her on the map. At least you know, whether you loved her or you hated her, you were like, this bitch cannot be ignored.
Right, exactly. And like she does the same thing that you just said she did with Little Women, in terms of like using these actors to her advantage. She has Saoirse Ronan, who is this like absolute powerhouse, and like plays this main character, Lady Bird, who is a high school student. She's a senior. She goes to an all-girls Catholic school, and like she has a really weird relationship with her mom, has a really strained relationship with her, and like it's Greta Gerwig does such an amazing job at making this film that like literally any single person can relate to. It's like, you know, she like makes Saoirse Ronan this character that's like lovable and relatable, but also like you can't stand her and you like hate the decisions that she makes. And like you have this mother who like your heart aches for, but also at the same time you're like, oh my god, like can you just be fucking nice to your daughter? And like Timothée Chalamet plays the absolute worst character I have ever seen in any movie I have ever watched. He makes me want to fucking die. I hate his character. Absolutely insufferable. Beanie Feldstein, I think, is her last name. Jonah Hill's little sister, the one who's in Booksmart.
Yes.
An absolute powerhouse. She plays Lady Bird's best friend, and is like one of the best characters in the whole movie. She is absolutely amazing. And like Greta Gerwig captures this like all girls Catholic school vibe, and like the awkward high school, you know, like theater kid, and we watched the scene 2 or 3 times last night, but like Saoirse Ronan is auditioning for the musical, this fall musical, and she wants the lead, and so she like dresses up, does her hair, puts on a nice dress, has a song prepared, and the one of the priests is like running this musical, so he's like, okay, go ahead. And the second he says it, she's on stage and she starts dancing and she's like singing, and I literally was in tears. I was laughing so hard. It was so awkward.
Oh no.
Like Beanie Feldstein sings this hymn because it's an all-girls Catholic school, and she gets cast as a lead because she sings the hymn. And it's just like so good.
Oh my god, I hate that.
Yeah, but like it's funny. There are certain scenes that are so fucking funny, but then it's also like gets to a point where it's like there's one scene and then switch is flipped, and I did not stop crying for the rest of the movie.
Ooh, so Little Women again. I can't wait.
Literally like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like I think Greta wrote the script.
Yes. Because I remember they had like interviewed her and they were like, "Is this your life?" And she goes, "I mean, I definitely pulled from my life, but it's not my life."
Right. I had also heard that, and like it's not autobiographical, but it's like autobiographical in a sense that like Greta Gerwig grew up in a small town and wants to go to school and live in New York City. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with Lady Bird, who lives in Sacramento, California, on the wrong side of the tracks, and like comes from like a middle to lower class family, and she wants to go to school in New York City. So in a sense it's autobiographical, but not really. But Greta Gerwig does this amazing job of putting in these one-liners that like literally had me pausing the movie to like cry.
Oh no, stop. Oh my god. Okay, I have to watch it now.
It was insane, Aaron. Like, you literally have to watch it. It was so good.
Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah, so I need to watch Booksmart.
Oh, you haven't watched Booksmart?
I have not.
It is very good.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
It's fun. It's funny. I mean, it's a comedy, and it like doesn't take itself seriously, which I really like. Right. And also, can we take a moment to appreciate Saoirse Ronan and how incredibly beautiful and talented that she is?
Absolute queen. Honest to God.
Literally. Like
in her and Lady Bird with her shitty dyed pink hair. Insane. Literally out of this world. Insane. Her in Little Women as Jo March. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my god, her hair fucked me up the entire time. Yeah. I just like could not get over it.
Can we also talk about Florence Pugh?
Yes.
Pugh in Little Women? Insane.
Oh my god. She was beautiful. And also, like, I noticed that when she's playing the younger version of herself, she'll like pitch her voice above her normal cadence, and then when her normal voice sets in as she's older, like, you really start to realize how like kind of husky her voice is, and like I'm just like, ooh, chills.
Her range, go off, queen.
Literally, like,
yeah, I'm
the
obsessed
hottest
with her.
Shit. Anyway.
Mood, not to be dramatic, would Loki risk it all?
Deadass on my list. I want to watch Midsommar for her specifically.
Me too, so bad.
I've heard such good things. But yeah,
Same.
Definitely on my watch list. Same with Lady Bird as well.
Okay, good. Good. You gotta watch it.
On my way, especially if it's on. You said it's on Amazon Prime.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I have someone else's login, so I'll give you that.
Okay, perfect.
Paying for my own shit, not in this lifetime. Don't know her.
Nah, boy.
Nah, bitch. Can't be me.
All right. What's your next one?
My next one is.
I think we should do 2 more each. Is that too much? If we speed through it.
I'm gonna do one more, and I can possibly do another one, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just do one more then.
Okay.
Great.
So my next one is a question.
Oh, what?
My next one is gonna come out in the form of a question. So the question is, what gridiron pastime appears hereafter?
That sentence doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's because this is the first one that I did where I ran it through the thesaurus, and I literally just went through each word individually, and now I'm looking at it like, this is a question that makes sense originally, but it doesn't make sense now that I've run it through the thesaurus.
What gridiron what gridiron pastime happens
hereafter?
Hereafter. No, I can't even get it.
So the question is, what does football look like in the future?
Okay.
What
does it look like?
So what football looks like in the future, aka 17776.
17776?
Yes. I don't know if you've heard about it, but in July of 2017, I think it was like early July, right after the 4th, this Super Bowl Nation, which is an actual football website, had come out with a story that says, what does football look like in the future? And it's this article. You jump onto the site, and as you're trying to read it, as you scroll down, like, the whole page becomes distorted and overtaken, and this black block of nothing appears on your screen, all within your web browser. And as you continuously scroll down, there's like calendar years that pass by, and you start to get messages, and you realize that it's going into this story. So you end up like talking to this other person who then reveals themselves to be a retired satellite in space that they had sent out in the 1970s that is now trying to communicate with you, another satellite that exists.
What?
And then you continue on, and then you finally gain sentience and are able to communicate with the other satellite that's out there. And so you and 2 other satellites are in space, sentient in the year 17,776, watching American football.
What? That's crazy.
It's an insane adventure that I did not expect an actual football website, Super Bowl Nation, to publish, but it was like a serialized thing where like there would be updates. So for the course of 10 days, there were 25 chapters that had come out over time, and you would have to wait and see what would happen next. But basically it was this like futuristic kind of thing, and it was multimedia. Like, it was not just the text that I'm describing, but also like videos were integrated into it, GIFs were integrated into it. There was a map portion of it. Like, it was just this insane work and feat of coding and media. And so the guy who did it, John Boyes, he had just put this together and was like, I have this idea for like what football would look like in the future, and they were like, yeah, just do it. But it's basically like a sci-fi story that was told, and Wikipedia describes it as a speculative fiction multimedia narrative. And it's insane. It blew my mind, and I completely forgot about it until recently, and then I went back into it and I went through the story again, and it's insane, Liz. I cannot stress this enough. Like, it still blows my mind. It's been years, and it still blows my fucking mind.
So this is on an actual football website, like an actual website that publishes articles about football.
Yes, and this man normally talks about football.
And so he was like, I have this idea, and they were like, yeah, go for it. And he just like kind of took this like artistic approach to it.
Yeah.
That's the coolest shit I have ever heard in my entire life.
Liz, it's insane, and I like cannot stress enough how much I want everyone that I know to like read through it. And it's not even reading. Like, it is reading, but it's like there's so much to it that you're always engaged. And just to like, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically the premise is, soon after our existing future, like, let's say it's 2020, like, in the next 5 years, basically, people stop dying, but people
Right.
also stop giving birth.
Uh-huh.
And we basically become invincible and also immortal. And so there's this descent into chaos, and basically football is still being played, but like on this entirely different level. And we, as the reader, take on the perspective of the sentient, satellite that like is now observing and learning about the world, and how it exists.
Right.
And it's just like, it's amazingly introspective. It's just like philosophical, but also like absurd in a way. It's funny. It's wild. Juice is a character who is like, he's one of the other satellites, and he is so fucking funny. It's wild that like I'm relating so hard to a fucking satellite that has yellow text, but it's so good and it's brilliant, and like I don't know how to describe it without sounding like a crazy person, but it's literally amazing. And like you can scroll through it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, you can do it on a tablet. Like the fact that there was so much thought put into it to make it compatible no matter what device you're on also is
Right.
amazingly insightful. And it came out 3 years ago when like all of this shit would have been a little bit harder to do than it is
Right.
today.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It won awards too, like, but it's just like, it's so, because it crosses over so many different mediums, it's really hard to like pin down and say what it is. So in that way, it's like, it's a story, but it's also just like, you need to have headphones in, like you need to be engaged with the story. I would literally just sit on my, like, this was back when I lived in South Jersey, so I would literally have to take a 2-hour commute into the city every day.
Mm-hmm.
And like during that time I would literally just sit there and read the story like over and over again.
Wow. Okay, so I'll have to read it.
Yes.
Is what you're telling me. Okay.
Yes. I'll watch Lady Bird, you'll read this. It'll be
Okay. We can come in next week for next week's vibe check with literally opposite.
Deadass.
Opposite.
But yeah, that's
for
my
us.
thing. What is your last thing, Liz?
My last thing that I want to talk about is something called Celestial Drop Canyon.
Celestial Drop Canyon?
Canyon.
Canyon.
So you know what it is. You know what it is. And I don't want to give too much away.
That's where the taboo rules come in.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like, let me think. You can grow stuff, and
Stardew Valley.
Yep. Yeah. So I was playing Minecraft for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel with Minecraft you can only play Minecraft for so long before it becomes this like not really tedious thing, but like for me it's like you get a bunch of this valuable shit. Like I have an enchanted diamond sword and a bow and arrow that like everything, the whole game becomes like very high stakes.
Yeah.
And like for me that like stresses me out and like takes away the fun. And you know, like I was at the point where I had already built 2 houses. I filled out a map. I love Minecraft, but like mining makes me nervous. So like I was like, okay, I have to go mining, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I was consuming a lot of like Minecraft content on YouTube, which is like kind of embarrassing, but also whatever. And then that slowly transitioned into Sims 4 content.
Oh.
Which was really fun.
Those are so good.
So good. And like I found there's this one girl on YouTube I can't remember her name, but she plays The Sims 4, and she also plays like Sims 2, Sims 3, and she'll talk about it in terms of like ranking all of the expansion packs and like, here's my favorite Sims character. So I was like watching a lot of that. And then I stumbled upon a Minecraft video that was, or not a Minecraft video, sorry, a Stardew Valley video that was like, here's a really big update that happened, and here's all the new shit. So I was like, oh,
Ooh.
I haven't played in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I logged in, and there was a ton of new gameplay. So I was like, well, I have to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I started playing again, and I was playing for a while. And then over this past weekend, I went to go see my girlfriend who lives in Brooklyn, and she was at work on Friday, and I turned on a Twitch stream to watch this woman play Stardew Valley, and it was Valentine's Day at that point, and I was washing dishes and like watching this woman play Stardew Valley. And like, also, maybe you can explain this to me, but someone gifted me a subscription to her Twitch channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
So, I mean, subscriptions are a way to support the person that you're watching. And the way that Twitch works is that like sometimes you want to give this person more subscribers, and like a lot of the viewers aren't going to be able to subscribe to that person because they don't have Prime, or like, you know, whatever circumstances are behind it. So in order to get that person and amass that person more followers, is that they'll gift out subscriptions to people. So when you are a subscriber to Twitch on that to that user, that particular user streams, you'll have access to some of the benefits, such as I think the most common one is like emoji usage, where you'll have access to the emojis that they customize, and you'll be able to use that in chat, which is always a fun thing.
That's cute. Well, yeah, so I turned on this Twitch stream because it was on my homepage, and I was like, oh, this is Stardew Valley. I love watching Stardew Valley. And like, the second I clicked on it, I knew that I wasn't going to be into it.
Really?
Because she was like, I watched it for 15 minutes, and like the whole time that she was on it, she was like talking to the chat, which is fine, and like definitely what Twitch is, but like there was no greenplay whatsoever in that 15 minutes, and she would be like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Oh, thanks so much for joining.
Like 24 hours in a Stardew capacity. Literally.
So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to click off. And then someone gifted me the subscription, and she, like, called out my username, and I was like, well, I'm going to look like a dick if I leave this stream now.
No, that's not true.
Okay, so anyway, I overthought it then, I guess, and I was like, I have to stay in the stream. But anyway, yeah, so I've just been, like, consuming a ton of Stardew Valley content, watching a lot of YouTube, going on Twitch. I've been playing it. And, yeah, there's a big update.
What is the update?
And, so there's a lot of, like, new gameplay. There's, like, there's a bunch of new fish, a couple new crops. There's, like, this new thing called the fish pond, which, like, you can plop fish that you caught in it, and it'll, like, generate new, like, materials and, like, new stuff.
Oh, shit. This is a lot.
There's, like, new heart events. So, when you... Stardew Valley, there's a community center that you have to, like, get very specific items for, and, like, once you get all of the items, you finish the community center, and, like, it gets fixed up. And so at that point, that's pretty much like, oh, you're done with the game, kind of. But they've added, like, a new bundle that you can do. Ooh. That'll get you this movie theater. So it, like, gives you more stuff to work towards. And, like, I love that, because at the point that I was at before I stopped playing, I was like, okay, I have, like, most of the actual, like, gameplay done. At this point, I was just trying to, like, complete everything and, like, 100% the whole game, which, like, can be really monotonous and, like exhaust the fun of the game very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But with this update, I was like really excited because I was like, oh, I got a bunch of new shit to do, and like still play my old farm that I have like a ton of hours in. So it's exciting, fun stuff.
That's always fun, and that's good. Like I think that nowadays games are beginning to understand the value of updates, patches, and like DLC content. I mean, with the advent of like more popular DLC content, you know, that really increases the longevity of these games, and you know, they spend so much time into creating this thing that like, you know, when a campaign is done in like 60 to 100 something hours, like you can get a lot more out of it just by constantly updating it, which is not as much work as like developing a brand new game. But I think
absolutely.
What's interesting about Stardew is that like, isn't it an independent developer who created the whole game?
Yeah, so it's by this guy named Eric Barone who goes by Concerned Ape. And he pretty much, you know, developed it solely for PC and like put it out there, and it got so popular and like blew up to the point where it has now, you know, expanded to all the consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. There's a mobile game on both iPhone and Android, and like it's just like insane that he's still out here, like he's out here going, I'm developing a new game, but also still putting in so much time and effort into Stardew Valley and like making all these updates and like working on all these patches and like releasing these updates for free. Like he could have very easily like bundled all this stuff into like a DLC pack and been like, okay, $10 for this pack, which will get you all this new gameplay and all this like,
and I would have bought
post game stuff that you can do. Exactly. And like a lot of people would have bought it, and like, cause it's just like expands the game so much more, but instead he's just like out here, you know, going, here's all this stuff that I labored to make, and like I'm giving it to you for free because I don't know, I would assume he's giving it to us for free because he's a good guy. and he wants to like better his game.
Because I love him.
I'm literally love it. Love the team. Love it so much.
Love the work. Big fan. Big fan.
Literally big fan. So, yeah, I'm like, I only want to play Stardew Valley. And also there's a new farm map.
Oh.
Which is specifically designed for multiplayer, which I thought was interesting.
A farm.
Exactly, because I was like, okay, we're like 2 hours into our farm, so like, what's the harm in restarting?
Not a lot, especially because I think when we made the map that we chose was kind of piss poor.
Oh my god, it sucks. It's like the like nighttime combat map.
It's too much. I don't like it. It's not as fun.
Exactly, and like the layout is like ass.
Yeah, I'm literally so far from you that if I'm not in my house, like if it's midnight, I need to haul ass, otherwise I'm not gonna make it.
Or you can just sleep over at mine.
Yeah, that's true. I just like but the fact that that's the way that it's put together, it's like,
right.
Please.
So this one, it's like the map is divided into 4 quarters, so like each player has their own quarter.
Oh.
Which I thought was great. So it's like a lot of farming room, and like I think there's like little lakes in each of them.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's just like new content that's fun and exciting, and I'm in it.
Yeah, I love that that's free. Like I can't believe it. Like, and that's also like a big point of contention between like players and developers, where they'll come out with a DLC and it's like 2 hours of content that I paid a quarter of the game for. So,
Right.
like, as you said, you could very much quantify however many hours it would take to complete the updated tasks and, like, do everything and grab all the new stuff in Stardew and, like, kind of put a monetary value on it. And it's all just like, hey, this is part of your game now. Have fun.
Exactly. And like that's why indie game developers should be appreciated more than they are. Like I'm sure they're super appreciated, and I'm not super into like the indie game scene, but like I don't know, man, they're like out here like putting in all this time and effort and like not charging you $20 for expansion packs or DLCs.
Yeah.
And like because I was on like a Sims 4 kick before I got back into Stardew Valley, like just thinking of that in comparison to Stardew, it's like, it's $40 for a base sim game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's just like Sims 4. It's like the basic game. You get the clothing, the furniture, the building stuff that like comes with the base game, and then they put out 35 stuff packs, which is like a bunch of new clothes and hairs and furniture, and they put out 10 to 12 expansion packs, which is like includes new gameplay, but like sometimes it's like, okay, but why am I spending another $40 on this expansion pack for like barely any gameplay and like 3 ugly hairstyles?
Yeah, literally. Especially when there's like mod stuff that you can download that's a billion times better.
Oh, I have absolutely found custom content that's like 400 times better than what is given to me.
Literally,
in an
the
expansion pack.
Sims custom content community out here pumping out like these fucking looks, these banging ass looks, literal
Absolutely
lookalikes
insane.
to actual celebrities that look insanely similar. It's honestly kind of terrifying, but they're putting in the work for free, for fucking free.
They really are. And that's why I think like big game developers like EA and like I can't even think of another one, but it's just like you're robbing people.
Literally. I remember I only had The Sims 1 for the longest time because that one was like it gave you everything that you needed to play a game, and like I don't know, I was happy with it. Like I was content with it, and like I remember Sims 2 and Sims 3 coming out and there were like a billion expansion packs, and I was like, well, I actually am happy in my little pixelated world where like if I breathe wrong, the kitchen will set on fire.
Right.
Gives it that kind of, little rustic charm.
Oh, totally. And like I think for me with The Sims, it was like I was super into The Sims 3, which is like what I played for like years and years and years. And like I had a ton of expansion packs, and like I put in so much like time and energy and money into it that like when The Sims 4 came out, and like it was a lot prettier than The Sims 3, but like a ton of the game mechanics had changed. Mm-hmm. In The Sims 3, it's like a lot of open world stuff. It's as open world as a Sims game can get.
Yeah.
Whereas The Sims 4, it's like loading screens, and you can't play as toddlers, and pets that you were able to play with in The Sims 3 as like actual Sims, they've completely regressed to being like pieces of furniture in The Sims 4. And I had never become so disinterested in something so quickly before in my entire life than I did when The Sims 4 came out.
Yeah, I think like The Sims 3 had like all these things that made it very charming, which I think EA had seen as like limiting factors, but really it's what like made it so fucking fun to play. Like it's funny to like sit there and be like, I'm a baby, what can I do?
Exactly. Or like I'm a toddler, like I have the liberties to crawl wherever the fuck I want.
Yeah. And like
I can't
maybe
go
I
up
can't
and down
cook a
stairs. Meal. Exactly. I can't go up and down stairs. I can't cook a meal. I can't go to the bathroom by myself unless someone teaches me how to go to the bathroom by myself. Like it just
But it's fun.
it creates like an extra thing that's just like so fun.
Yeah. I think Sims 4 made it easier to like get to the point where you're playing the game In terms of like the build mode is like a lot easier.
The build mode in Sims 4 is absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, oh my God, it saves lives. Because the amount of time that you would spend trying to like cheese something in The Sims 3, I wasted so many hours of my life just trying to do that. But Sims
Right,
4
and like
like gives you the liberty to just be like, I'm gonna slap this house together. I don't care.
exactly, and like your furniture doesn't have to click into place. Like you can just like put it wherever, and like
Hmm.
Sims will actually like use their brains for once in their life and like shimmy between a couch and a table instead of like having to put a table 7 feet away from a couch.
Scream at God, being like, why can't I shimmy my way through this?
Yeah, Werble who burble, like let me through, like just fucking squeeze your way through it. You have legs.
I can't believe you spoke Simlish. That's insane.
Simlish, thank you. Thank you. Next week I'll be speaking Animal Crossing character.
Oh my God, stop.
So funny.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it.
I love that. I actually really had a good time. Did you have a good time during this vibe check? It doesn't feel like a vibe check.
No, I literally love it. I truly had a good time. I like this taboo format.
I really like it as well. I think that I overcomplicated mine, but I think the other problem is that like the ones that I had come up with are a little bit strange.
The last one was so obscure. I was like, I had no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I was like, as soon as I said it, I was like, there's no way that she knows what the fuck I'm talking about anyway. So what's the fucking point?
Oh my god. But yeah, I had a good time. So next week, we're gonna continue on with the vibe check, because guess what? Mercury is still in retrograde.
That's correct. Everyone, please stay safe out there. It's wild. Anyway, thank you for coming to and listening to another episode of Retrograde. We are again continuing on this hashtag vibe check for another week. So we'll see you next time, where we will bring more topics and play more Taboo.
We love it. Thanks for listening.
Bye!
Bye.